Imagine waking up in a space capsule, looking out the window, and seeing Earth floating in the vast darkness of space. Sounds like a distant dream? Well, get ready, because this experience might be closer and more accessible than you think. But before we dive into the astronomical costs, here's something that might surprise you. Traveling to space could be cheaper than buying a house in some of the world's most expensive cities. Yes, you heard that right. Soon, we'll see how this is possible. If this topic interests you, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to receive more videos like this one. Brief history of space tourism. Before we talk about the future of space tourism, let's take a look at how it all began. The idea of civilians traveling to space is not new, but turning it into reality took decades. Since the beginning of the space age in the 1960s, the idea of space tourism has captured the public's imagination. But for a long time, traveling to space remained an exclusive privilege of highly trained astronauts. Everything changed on April 28, 2001, when Dennis Tito, an American businessman, became the first space tourist in history. He paid an impressive $20 million to spend nearly 8 days aboard the International Space Station. This pioneering trip opened the doors to a new era of private space exploration. After Tito, only 6 more space tourists followed in his footsteps in the next decade. Some of these pioneers were Mark Shuttleworth and Anousheh Ansari. All of these first space tourists had 2 things in common: very deep pockets and an unwavering passion for space. In this initial phase, space tourism faced major challenges. Astronomical costs, literally making it accessible only to the ultra-rich. Dependence on government space programs, mainly the Russian Space Agency. Extremely limited capacity, with only an occasional seat available for civilians. The scenario began to change significantly in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Private companies like Virgin Galactic and Blue Origin announced ambitious plans for more accessible suborbital flights. But it was SpaceX's entry into the market that really shook things up, promising not just suborbital flights, but complete orbital trips for tourists. After a hiatus of almost a decade, space tourism gained new momentum in 2021 with space missions like SpaceX's Inspiration 4, Jeff Bezos's suborbital flight with Blue Origin, and Richard Branson's trip with Virgin Galactic. These events marked the beginning of a new era, where private companies, not governments, are leading the way to space. And speaking of private companies leading the way, no one has shaken up the aerospace sector in recent years more than SpaceX. Let's take a look at how Elon Musk and his company are revolutionizing not just space tourism, but the entire space industry. SpaceX and its revolution in the aerospace sector. Now that we understand how space tourism began, let's talk about the company that's redefining the rules of the game, SpaceX. Founded in 2002 by Elon Musk, SpaceX was born with an audacious mission: to make humanity a multi-planetary species. Musk, known for his futuristic vision and innovative companies like Tesla and Neuralink, saw an opportunity to revolutionize an industry that had remained relatively stagnant for decades. SpaceX's initial goal was simple but ambitious: to drastically reduce the cost of space launches. SpaceX's early years were marked by challenges and skepticism from the traditional industry. Between 2006 and 2008, the company faced 3 consecutive launch failures of its Falcon 1 rocket. But persistence paid off. On September 28, 2008, the Falcon 1 became the first privately funded liquid fuel rocket to reach orbit. SpaceX's true revolution came with the development of reusable rockets. Traditionally, rockets were disposable, making each launch extremely expensive. In 2015, SpaceX successfully landed the first stage of its Falcon 9 rocket, a feat considered impossible by many. This innovation drastically reduced the cost of launching. To put it in context, before SpaceX, putting a kilogram into orbit cost about $54,500. SpaceX reduced this value to about $2,720 per kilogram. In 2018, SpaceX successfully launched the Falcon Heavy, the world's most powerful operational rocket. This launch not only demonstrated the company's technical capability, but also its flair for marketing by sending a Tesla Roadster into space as a test payload. SpaceX's most ambitious project to date is the Starship, a fully reusable transport system. The Starship is designed to carry up to 100 people to the Moon, Mars, and beyond. With Starship, SpaceX aims to further reduce launch costs and make interplanetary travel a reality. SpaceX's innovations are making space tourism more accessible in several ways. Drastic reduction in launch costs. Increased launch frequency, offering more opportunities for space travel. Development of vehicles specifically designed for space tourism, such as the Starship. In 2021, SpaceX conducted the Inspiration 4 mission, the first all-civilian orbital flight, marking a significant milestone in space tourism. NASA and other space agencies now rely on SpaceX for critical missions, including transporting astronauts to the International Space Station. These government contracts help fund the development of technologies that directly benefit space tourism. With all these revolutionary innovations, you must be wondering, after all, how much does a space trip cost today? Well, prepare yourself for some surprising numbers as we explore the current costs of space tourism. Current costs of a space trip. Now that we understand how SpaceX is revolutionizing the sector, let's talk numbers. How much does it really cost to fulfill the dream of traveling to space? SpaceX offers different space travel options, each with its own price. Private orbital missions. The estimated price is about $55 million per seat. Flights around the Moon. There's no official price yet, but it's speculated that it could cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Although these values seem astronomical, remember our initial counterintuitive principle. In some cities, this might be cheaper than buying a luxury house. Virgin Galactic offers suborbital flights for approximately $450,000 per person. Blue Origin has not disclosed official prices, but they are estimated to be similar to Virgin Galactic's. Axiom Space plans to offer stays on the International Space Station for about $55 million. Let's now see what's included in these prices. Extensive pre-flight training. Customized equipment. The flight experience itself. In the case of orbital missions, accommodation and food on the spacecraft or space station. Compare these values to the $20 million paid by Dennis Tito in 2001. Although these are still very high values, we see a downward trend in prices over time. Factors influencing the price. But what exactly makes space travel so expensive? Let's analyze the main factors that influence these astronomical prices. Development of rockets and spacecraft, billions of dollars in research and development. Manufacturing costs, high-tech materials, and complex production processes. Tests and certifications. Ensuring safety is extremely expensive and time-consuming. Fuel. Although not the biggest cost, it's still significant. Highly specialized team. Engineers, technicians, and support staff. Launch facilities, maintenance and operation of space bases. Redundant safety systems. Each critical system has multiple backups. Intensive training. Preparing space tourists requires significant time and resources. Licenses and authorizations. Complex and costly process. Compliance with safety standards. Rigorous standards increase costs. Currently, demand exceeds supply, keeping prices high. That said, as more companies enter the market, competition is expected to help reduce prices. Predictions for the future of costs. With all these factors in mind, what can we expect for the future of space tourism? Let's examine some predictions and trends. Cost reduction trends. Rocket reusability expected to continue drastically reducing launch costs. Economies of scale. With more launches, fixed costs will be diluted. Technological advancements, new materials and production methods can reduce manufacturing costs. SpaceX goals. Elon Musk has stated that he aims to reduce the cost of trips to Mars to less than $500,000, eventually reaching $100,000. The Starship, if successful, could further revolutionize the costs of space tourism. Expert estimates. Some analysts predict that suborbital flights could cost around $50,000 in a decade. Orbital trips may fall to a few $1,000,000 in the same period. Factors that can accelerate or slow down cost reduction. Unexpected technological breakthroughs can accelerate cost reduction. Accidents or setbacks can increase costs due to stricter regulations. Impact of space tourism on the economy and science. Space tourism is not just about fulfilling individual dreams. It has the potential to transform our economy and drive significant scientific advancements. The economic impact of space tourism promises to be revolutionary, opening new frontiers of opportunity. This emerging industry will not only create innovative jobs, from space engineering to orbital hospitality, but also catalyze the development of entirely new sectors. Imagine space hotels and zero-gravity entertainment becoming a reality. Moreover, the technologies developed for these cosmic adventures will inevitably find terrestrial applications, stimulating innovations in various fields and potentially transforming our daily lives in ways we can barely imagine yet. The scientific advancements driven by space tourism will be substantial. Microgravity research will open new frontiers in biology, physics, and medicine, while the development of life support technologies will bring benefits to terrestrial applications in extreme environments. Furthermore, Earth observation from space will offer unprecedented perspectives for climate and environmental studies, potentially revolutionizing our understanding and management of the planet. Space tourism has the potential to boost space exploration in unprecedented ways. By funding and accelerating more ambitious missions, it can pave the way for the establishment of lunar or Martian bases with significant private sector support. However, this advancement does not come without concerns. The environmental impact of rocket emissions on Earth's atmosphere raises crucial questions about the sustainability of space tourism, stimulating discussions about potential solutions such as the development of cleaner fuels and carbon offset strategies. Moreover, space tourism raises important ethical and social questions. A debate emerges about the allocation of resources between space tourism and urgent terrestrial problems, as well as concerns about equity, given that initially, access will be limited to the ultra-rich. On the other hand, this new frontier has the potential to inspire a whole new generation of scientists and engineers, fostering innovation and technological progress. On the global stage, space tourism can become a catalyst for international cooperation. By fostering collaborations between nations, it opens new possibilities for space diplomacy and intercultural understanding. This shared perspective of our planet viewed from space can unite people from different cultures and nationalities, promoting a more unified vision of humanity and our place in the cosmos. Space tourism goes beyond simple trips. It redefines our position in the universe. As space becomes more accessible, we face a unique opportunity for transformation. Imagine the impact of thousands of people returning with a new vision of our fragile blue planet. This shared cosmic perspective will not only expand our physical horizons, but also the limits of our collective consciousness. The true legacy of space tourism will, therefore, be a profound change in how we see our world, face global challenges, and understand ourselves as humanity. If this journey through the future of space tourism has sparked your curiosity, don't stop here. Subscribe to the channel to continue exploring the frontiers of science, technology, and the future of humanity. Leave your like and share this video. Each interaction helps to spread these fascinating ideas, creating a community of curious minds ready to shape tomorrow. Together, we can go beyond the stars,